So today what I'm working on is hot wire. Fence hasn't really actually been hot for a little while. So in today's episode what I'm going to be doing is we're going to be working on hot wire, an electric fence. My hot box had an issue with it, so I'm swapping it out with another one from the farm that's not being used, not going to be used for a while. So I'll take the primary one, the one that's not working right now, I'll just take it to MFA because they repair them. So hopefully it's not a big deal. Maybe it's just some internal fuse or something and they can just swap out a part and it'll be good to go. But, so today what I need to do though, before I do anything, is I'm killing the light switch here to our north horse lot. The one that has the mares in it, the one that we're going to drop our stud horse in. Because what I want to do is I want to turn everything off, so when I plug in this new box, I can turn on paddocks on one at a time, and so if there's any issues, I can actually quickly figure out where that issue is. Because right now, if I just have everything on, I plug it in, I don't know which paddock is having which issues. So what we've done is, in the feed room, right off the box, I have 3 knife switches, so that turns off 3 different lights, this one being one of them. And then prior to this one actually going hot, I have another knife switch down here, so I don't have to run back and forth to the barn every time I need to turn this lot off. I can just come to this knife switch right here. Before I do that though, I'm going to drive the property and look for obvious issues. If there's hot wire up against a T-post, if it's up against a tree, if there's a new tree coming up, something like that. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now. Let's go drive some fence. So stuff like this will short out your fence. So you definitely want to make sure that you don't have anything actually touching the hot wire itself other than your black insulator. And this is definitely one of the fences that I still need to replace. But right now I'm using actual trees. I mean, this was a tree that got lopped off. Makes a great fence post, and it helps keep the horses off of the barbed wire and keeps them from getting tangled up. And we haven't had an issue with that now for 3 years-ish. So it's definitely working as long as I keep the crap off of it. So again, another problem. Stuff like this is easy to deal with. You should be walking your fences daily, if not at least weekly, and looking for stuff like that. So this right here is incredibly bad, where that hot wire is tied up against that T-post. That's going to just ground out the system and eventually short everything out. So something like this, that's going to be the fix. But I need 2 hands for that, and I don't have a tripod with me. So sorry about this. So that's the fix. At least that's one easy fix. That cap just goes on top of your T-post, and then this snaps off. So it'll accommodate tape or round hot wire. And what we're using, it's actually a high tensile wire, and it's this black line. There's 3 black lines. That's actually what conducts the electricity. Hey girls. Alright, fine, I'll go around you. So this is the second electric fencer box we have on the property. Took the first one out. We're going to use this one because we only really need the one right at the moment. So I need to redo how I have this hung up here, but that'll come a different day. So I got a ground wire that goes to the black, and then this wire here is the feed. It's what I call is the feed wire, because what it does is it's going to go from the red to this first switch, and it stays on the hot side, go into my second switch, continuing on to the third switch, all staying on the hot side. By closing any of these switches, you actually will make a certain product hot. This top switch is, basically it's the horse side up here. The second switch is the llama side up here at the house. This third switch is the north horse lot. So this is the switch we want to actually work with today. So I'm going to probably end up leaving everything else turned off today, because if any of the other two lots are hot, I really don't care today. It's the north horse lot that I'm trying to get hot as of right now. So I'm just going to attach this wire to the red terminal post. Then all it is you plug it in. So this number right here is reading 12.9, 13.3. 12.9, 13.3, 13.4. So I'm getting about 13 is the fence voltage. So this little indicator here says 4.0 is higher for your long-haired animals. So that's kind of what we're going for because we got the llamas. You could get by on 2 or high for short-haired animals like horses. 1 to 2, that's indicating that there's an issue somewhere. The other fencer before we swapped it out was only getting like 0.3, 0.4. And that was it not hooked up to anything at all. So, I guess, at this point, everything should be good. But let's go ahead and turn this on and see what happens. So I'm still getting 13.8. So I'm still getting 13.8, 14. And that is going from here through that switch, through the feed line to the north lot, but not energizing the north horse lot because I turned it off. So I really should drive down there and turn that switch on, and we'll see what happens. All right, so back here at the switch for the north lot, 11.2 kilovolts with the knife switch turned off, 4.2 kilovolts on the fence. So this is the very end of my fence. I have 1.7 kilovolts. So I got something somewhere grounding out. So it says I have 3 kilovolts here. I'm at the northeast gate, and it's saying I got 14 amps to the west. So the magical little leprechaun fairies or whatever's in this little hootis telling me that my ground is somewhere to the west of me. So somewhere along this northern fence or the western fence, there's ground. Yep, still says it's further down here, and I still hear it snapping somewhere down here. If you're really quiet, you can usually hear that snapping from a pretty long ways away. It's a hard ground somewhere. Ah, I see it. I missed that. That's not good. So I gotta rectify that. All right. So with that fixed, it's saying I have no more grounds, and I'm getting 8 kilovolts. With as long as this fence is, that seems pretty good. So to rectify this problem, I'm going to leave it like that. I'll get back in the truck and drive around to the switch, turn off this whole fence, come back up here, fix it, and then drive back there and turn it back on. It's kind of the nice thing about having a switch locally at this paddock. So, because otherwise, I guess I could call the wife and make her leave the babies and go up. She could walk to the barn and turn the whole fence off. But if you can find a way to design your fences with multiple points to turn off sections of fence, it's pretty ideal. And that wasn't too much walking. That was pretty easy to find. And I actually was able to hear it when I first turned the fence on. So. Alright, so off. Now we'll go drive back up there and fix the issue. Wow. That was sparking for a while before it shorted out the fence. I think this might actually be the cause of why our other fencer isn't working anymore. So that's what happens when you don't want your fences on a regular basis. It'll just melt right through. So, and it is possible that it could actually weld itself to your T-posts. Rare, but it can happen. Alright. So, should be fixed. Hopefully this is the last time. So the fence should be energized. .1 kilovolts. So whenever you're installing an electric fence, add a lot of switches. That way you can turn off certain legs, certain sections. So if you do end up with a ground, it's easy to figure out, okay, well, if I turn all of them off and turn them on one by one, which one has the ground in it? This SpeedRite fault finder, they're not cheap, but oh my God, are they handy. Because otherwise you're just a normal voltmeter, fence tester, it'll just tell you how many kilovolts it's getting. You know, 4 kilovolts, 8 kilovolts, or 1 kilovolt. But that doesn't tell you much. It doesn't tell you which way you got to start walking to figure out where your problem is. So having one of these handy, they're great. I mean, I keep it locked in my truck, so anytime I'm out at the fence, I can just test it. And I can see, all right, well, it's saying I got a ground fault to my left or to my right. And then you just start going. You just start walking, or in my case, we have a lot of fence, and most farmers have a lot of fence. So if you can keep it to where you have a driveway or drive path along all your fences, then it makes it really simple to test it. And if you are lucky enough to have a four-wheeler, this is where four-wheelers on a farm come in. It's so handy. It's just checking fence. You know, just driving around your fence every couple of days, make sure a tree doesn't fall on it, a limb doesn't fall on it. It doesn't take much to start faulting out these electric fences. So you do have to check them regularly, because if you don't, it will kill your fencer, it will ruin your fence, it just causes problems. So yeah, check your fences regularly. It's from Kenko Fencing. They got a few places around the country. They do ship it. It's a high tensile, so you can actually, what we do is we put ratchet binders at every corner. So you just kind of run it along, hook it up to the ratchet binder, and then you tighten up one end of the fence and then go to the other end, tighten up the other end. And it makes it very tight, very secure. It actually stands out really well, and it lasts a long time. And it's high visibility. So if you have a woven wire fence, barbed wire fence, you know, there's times a day where from any form of a distance, fences tend to disappear. It just makes it stand out, which I translate to the horses just see it. They know where the fence is. Cattle will see it and know where the fence is. So I'm Ben with MD Triple Creek. Remember, click like and subscribe.